So back to what I was saying.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Frolickz here, bringing you another GTA 5 online video. In today's video, guys, we are going to be doing a review of which off-road vehicle is actually the best one in the game. Now, I'm going to be using a couple old ones and a couple new ones from DLCs, and we're going to be putting them all to the test on one route up Mount Chiliad. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'd like to congratulate the giveaway winner as seen on screen. I've already contacted you on Instagram, so be sure to contact me back as soon as possible. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first car we're going to be using today is the Canis Free Crawler. As you can see, now all the vehicles I'm using are fully upgraded, and I do have timers on screen. If you guys did see when I used the map, I just put 2 points of interest of where the route is. So we're going to be testing between traction, speed, and just seeing which one overall is the best. So looking at the Canis Free Crawler so far, it is a very, very good vehicle. I used to use it driving around a lot. Now, the one thing I don't really like about it, it doesn't have too much speed going up these hills. It is a very good off-road vehicle though, and it did make it up the mountain on the very first try. Some of the vehicles in this video didn't actually make it up the mountain at all. Other ones did make it up at certain points, but you guys can see here in the video, it's having a little bit of trouble going up this steep part of the hill, which is obviously a little bit of a problem because the price is pretty high, especially if you're looking to get an off-road vehicle. I wouldn't suggest getting this one if you're going to be climbing up steep parts of mountains. But anyways, you guys can see that I'm taking this one specific route. I'm going to be doing it for every vehicle, like I said, and it goes down here to get it a little bit more speed, and then we go up another steep point. Now, if you guys know, when you're using off-road vehicles, or any vehicles of that matter, they drive faster when it's on rock. So you guys can see it got a little bit of a speed boost there, and now we're driving on more grass. And this is where it's coming to the final stretch. It's about to go up onto the path, and it does manage to get up this steep part here. It does do a little bit of a drift and burnout, but it still manages to pull through and get to the top of the hill. So obviously it is a pretty decent choice if you guys are going to be doing some off-roading stuff. And you guys can see it finishes with a time of about 1 minute and 20 seconds, which isn't terrible, but it's not the best. Anyways, let's move on over to the next vehicle. So I'm also going to be doing at the end of which vehicle came in first all the way to last. I believe there's like 7 or 8 vehicles on this list. But anyways, let's get into the next vehicle here, which is actually going to be the Coil Brawler. Now, this is another off-road vehicle, and I decided to put it to the test on this little track that I made going up Mount Chiliad. So you guys can see right off the bat, it does have a pretty decent amount of speed going up the hill. So I thought, you know what, I think this one might actually be a winner. But I did actually come through some problems with this vehicle that you guys are going to see later on after it does this little run. But you guys can see it's pretty decent. It's got some good speed. I thought it was going to do really, really well. Now it's coming up to a steep part on this mountain, so let's see how it does going up this part. Unlike the Canis Free Crawler, it didn't drift around too much. It actually, now looking at it, if you guys saw at the bottom of the screen, it did do a little bit of a burnout there. So in terms of traction, it's not the best. You guys can see here, it's still doing a burnout going up that, and you can see the Canis Free Crawler's tracks actually right along the side there. Going down, it's got a little bit of a speed boost. Now we're going up another steep part of the hill, and we're going to see how well it does at this point. Now, this is actually where I had some trouble with this vehicle. It actually did fail a couple of times. I'm going to show the clips of it. So it did actually take me 3 attempts to get this vehicle to the top. So you guys can see right here, this is the steepest part on the mountain, and it's taking its time. As you can see, it's doing like a kind of burnout, shooting up dust everywhere. So it did manage to make it up the hill faster than the Canis Free Crawler with 1 minute and 11 seconds, which isn't bad, of course, but it is still not the best. I'm going to show you guys why it's not the best vehicle for off-roading and going up steep mountains like this. So you guys can see in this video clip, I was going up the same part with it again, and it kind of just went up and just started rolling down. I couldn't brake, I couldn't accelerate forward. It pretty much just rolled down. I did it again, and it just did the exact same thing. So you guys may have some trouble with this. I got really lucky doing it. Who knows, it might be different for you though. Now this next one is a good one. This one is, I think, the Camacho Topless, and in my personal opinion, I think this is going to be the best off-road vehicle to use, but we'll see with the other vehicles in the video. So right off the bat, you guys can see it's got some great speed going up the mountain. It's got great traction, and it's just flying up the hill. There's a little secret that I want to let you guys know about this vehicle at the end of the video on why I think it's really, really good. But you guys can see it is just flying up this mountain. It's not having any trouble with anything whatsoever. And like I said, all of these vehicles are completely fully upgraded with off-road wheels. and also have the max upgrades for stuff on it, like in the trunk. This one has duffel bags, and the other ones do have stuff in the bed liners as well. You guys can see going up this steep part of the mountain, it's having no trouble whatsoever, and it is just flying up everything. Going up the gravel, it didn't even need it, and it just shoots straight up the mountain and just completely wipes out the other two vehicles at the start of the list with no trouble whatsoever. So obviously this vehicle is very good, coming in with a time of 50 seconds to get up the mountain, which is pretty crazy. That's very, very good. And I'm going to show you guys another clip of why this vehicle is actually so good. And yeah, so pretty much this freaking truck can just go up a 90-degree incline on a mountain like this. It can't go up a huge one, but it can just shoot right up this 90-degree incline with no problem whatsoever. So I think this vehicle is definitely a very good off-road vehicle. So next up we have the Karaka 4x4. I think that's what it's called. My apologies if I pronounced it wrong, and I apologize that it's nighttime. It might be a little hard to see for you guys, but I did have high hopes for this vehicle as well. So let's see how it does going up this track. So as you can see off the bat, it does pretty well. It didn't really do too much of a burnout. It's got some speed going up the mountain as well, and it doesn't look to be having too much trouble. I did think this was going to be a pretty good truck to use as well, because I did actually use it before when I was testing it with some of my friends, and it got up the mountain pretty easily, but I wanted to see how good it would be on this track. So you guys can see it's obviously not as good as the previous Camacho, but it is still a pretty decent vehicle to get up to the top of this mountain. Now that was a pretty tricky part. It pretty much just went up at a normal speed, didn't have much problems with that. And now you guys can see going up another steep part, it seems to be pretty decent. The only issue that I could see with it, it doesn't have the speed, but it does have the traction. It doesn't seem to be struggling too much with holding on to the dirt on the mountain. Going up this part, it was still pretty easy. Not too many issues here. You guys can't see too much smoke coming out of the back of it or dust shooting up. And it does finish with a pretty decent time of 1 minute and 1 second. So obviously this vehicle is pretty good to use as well. And it honestly looks really, really nice when it's fully upgraded. Anyways, let's get into the next vehicle here. Now, I can't remember exactly what this vehicle is called, but it's that giant truck. It's a vapid truck. Let me know in the comments down below what vehicle it is if you guys do know. But I thought this vehicle was going to be really good, but you guys are going to see here why it does have some issues. So number one, right off the bat, it doesn't have the speed. You guys can see accelerating right there. It just went very slow, and it didn't look like it was going to do well. So I knew testing it, it probably wouldn't make it up into the top 3 vehicles. So you guys can see it is doing okay. It's not looking like it's having too many problems at the easy part of the mountain, but honestly all the vehicles don't really have that much trouble. Now for the first tricky part, going up the steep incline, you guys can see it's having a bit of a speed issue and kind of a traction issue as well. It slows down a lot at this point, but it does manage to go all the way up the mountain. Now I was using things that you would usually use to get a bit of a boost, like holding down R1, the e-brake, so you guys can get a little bit more of a boost on certain points. I did that with all the vehicles just so they can all get up to certain points if they were having trouble. Going up this steep part of the mountain, it does look like this vehicle is holding its traction, which is good, but it is taking its time going up, so the speed is obviously not there. You guys can see here it's now drifting on the side of the mountain, and don't forget, this is a very, very steep part of a mountain, so most vehicles wouldn't be able to get up this. And now going towards the gravel area, you guys can see it couldn't make it up that part, and it started to slide, so I decided to turn and try to go up this part here, and it manages to do it. It does have very, very good traction. The only issue is the speed, of course. It just doesn't have that, but it is still a really good vehicle. It does finish with a time of, I believe, like 1:26, which is of course still not terrible, but it's not the best on the list. But yeah, it's still a pretty nice vehicle. And yeah, so the next vehicle we're using is the Mesa. So I decided to barely even add this to the list if you guys were wondering about this, because it is a cheap kind of vehicle. This vehicle is obviously not the best thing to use. I sped up the clip just because it's just watch this. So it looks like it's like okay going up this part. It's drifting a little bit, and that's when I knew it wasn't going to do too well. Then at this point, it couldn't even make it up past this steep incline, and this is me fully accelerating, trying to go back up the mountain. You're going to see here me completely accelerating, and it actually just starts rolling back. That's full acceleration. Then it looks like it's going to do okay going up the mountain, but then it just stops and rolls back down, sadly. So the Mesa is definitely not the best choice to use. Next up, we have the Biffax. Now, this vehicle is a really, really good off-road vehicle. You guys know it's been in the game for a while, and it does have some really good traction. It's got great speed, and it's small, and it's just very good at doing what it has to do, honestly. So Like I said, it's a very light vehicle, so that obviously that does help because it doesn't have too much weight bringing it down. So you guys can see it just has a ton of speed shooting up this mountain. Once again, it is fully upgraded as well. And you guys can see going on the easy part, no problems at all. It's actually flying up in the air because it's so light. And now going up the steep part of the mountain, not having too much trouble. The speed does drop a little bit, but it's not affecting the car too much. So it is doing decently. It's not having too much issues in terms of drifting and traction. Right there it had a little issue, but I believe that's just because the car popped up into the air. You can see the exhaust firing out, so of course it is redlining. But going down this part, it got a little bit of more speed and shot right up this part of the mountain. And going up here, like I said, it does go down a bit in speed, but not too much where the car stops and starts rolling backwards. It still has a good enough amount of speed, barely needed to use the gravel, and just goes up this part with ease. Now, of course, it's not the best vehicle on the list, but it is still one of the great ones. If you guys are looking in terms of customization options, of course, this vehicle doesn't have the most customizations. The only things you can do really are just put a roof, exhausts, and that's really it. But it does finish with a time of 1:17, which of course is really good and does make it onto the list in the higher areas. Now, next up, we have the Sand King XL. Now, you would think this vehicle would be pretty good, but honestly, you guys are going to be disappointed if you are fans of this car. So this is fully upgraded as well. I'm not sure if this does make a difference or not, but honestly, all the other vehicles were fully upgraded. The hubcap on the back may have made some difference. I'm not too sure, but you guys can see going up the mountain at the start, it looks to be doing okay. Going around the easy part, it does okay as well. Now, what I do like about this vehicle, it does have a good traction. That's what's really good about the Sand King. It has great traction, but it doesn't have the best speed. So if you're looking for a vehicle with traction, so if you're going up against some, like let's say the Mesa or something going up one of these hills, since these vehicles are both fairly old, this vehicle will destroy it. It'll just go up the mountain with traction and it'll just go right up. In terms of speed, it's of course not the best, but you can see it's holding on there. It isn't drifting at all. It's just going straight up and it is just having an easy time. Of course, the speed isn't there though. Going down this part of the hill, it does get a little bit of speed, but of course, since it's such a big vehicle, it doesn't get too much. You guys can see going up this side of the mountain, it does seem to be doing fairly well. Like I said, it has great traction, just it doesn't have the speed. If the vehicle is not fully upgraded in terms of engine, transmission, maybe suspension and brakes, then maybe it might have a little bit of an issue, but you can see it's just taking its time. It does have great traction, so it is able to make it up this part of the mountain pretty easily. Like I said, if it wasn't upgraded, there might have been a little bit of a difference, but it doesn't finish in the top 3, sadly, and we're going to be getting into the list of what came in first and 7th. But it does finish with a time of 1:24, which of course is pretty good. And stay tuned for the end of the video because there's a little treat at the end. But you guys can see in first place, of course, is the Camacho with 50 seconds. Second place is the Karaka 4x4 with 1:01. Then the Brawler with 1:11 in third. Fourth, we have the Biffax with 1:17. And then in fifth, we have the Free Crawler with 1:20. Sixth, we have the Sand King, and then in last place, we have this vehicle. So I wanted to show you guys this. If you were going up against a true fade Thrax or any kind of supercar, you're going to get killed. This vehicle is crazy fast. Now, of course, because it is a supercar and it does have great traction, if you guys didn't know, all supercars, they stick to the road. So they also have really good traction. So going up mountains and stuff, they will be able to go up it very, very easily. You can see it's just flying up. Now, what I wanted to point out, why the vehicle that came in first did come in first is because it does have all of the things that this vehicle does have, the same as the Thrax. Now, what I found out that was pretty crazy was this vehicle, the Camacho, which came in first, actually lost by about 1 second compared to the Thrax. Now, it did wipe out a little bit on the mountain, so this vehicle did finish with 49 seconds. So, of course, it may be a little bit different, but you guys can see the Camacho came in first and it almost is the equivalent to what a supercar is going up a mountain. So you guys can see it's obviously a great vehicle to use. I would definitely suggest using it to get up mountains. It does go up super fast. You can go up 90-degree inclines and just fly up. But anyways, that's it for the video today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want to see more videos like this and me reviewing things in the game, telling you guys which car is the best to use of its class, let me know down in the comments and let me know by dropping a like on the video. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Don't forget to turn on post notifications as well. And follow me on all my social medias seen on screen for giveaway information in the future. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.